Awesome, I think we're live. Apologies for the delay. This YouTube live broadcast was actually meant to start at 7. I've actually spent the past 40 minutes to try and figure out how this stuff all works. Like, it seems to be a little bit more complicated than I first anticipated. But very warm welcome. If you're not sure who I am, my name's Ollie. I run a company called E-commerce Freedom. And the whole purpose of my business is to teach people how to go from not knowing how to run a business all the way to running a 6-figure e-commerce business online. Right now I've got over 300 students. I've done 7 figures in online sales myself, and my students have also done 7 figures in online sales. And in today's YouTube live, apart from just testing out this platform and seeing if it actually works well and seeing what I can do with it, I wanted to deliver you guys some value and maybe have a chat and get involved with you guys in the comments and help you. And the topic of today's YouTube live is what's happening with Amazon in 2017. Now, I think this is something that's been talked about a lot in a lot of articles across the internet, a lot of Facebook groups out there. I'll get a lot of emails about this topic. How is Amazon changing? Are the things they're doing good news or bad news? Are certain strategies going to be thrown completely out of the window? And where should you be directing your energy in order to make maximum profit, in order to hit your goals as a business owner? What are the kind of things you can be focusing on to maintain your healthy seller account, keep getting those profits, keep growing your business, but in a way that doesn't annoy Amazon and wants them to keep you as a seller, right? Because after all, that's one of our main priorities, right? We want to keep Amazon happy with us so we can continue to sell on their platform. So I've got a little bit of content for you today to deliver. I'm also going to take questions. I'm trying to find out where the chat window is, where I can post in questions. So give me a couple of seconds whilst I figure this out. This is the first time I've ever done this thing, so bear with me. There's going to be loads of technical hiccups, obviously, but I'm going to deliver as much content as I possibly can. And if any of you guys turn up late, or you didn't manage to watch this, it will be on my YouTube channel for the future, so you can watch it there. So what I'm going to do is actually post up a link, because today at 8 PM GMT, I'm hosting a live webinar where, if you haven't actually got started with Amazon yet, then you must join this webinar. If I can't help you grow a successful Amazon business hands off without touching any of the stock, then nobody can. So I say that confidently just because of how my previous students have done. So go to info.ecommercefreedom.com/100 Amazon and get signed up with that before we get going with the main content of this live session. Okay, so there should be a link in the description there. I don't know why my comment isn't going through there, but it's all good. We're going to press on. So I think really with 2017, Amazon's main aim is, from a general perspective, is just to continue to improve the customer experience. Like, as sellers, I don't think they're too focused on sellers right now, except for the ones who are sending in fake stock, ones who are trying to trick the system, ones who are trying to make a quick buck and fly by the night, get in and out quick, and not really build a sustainable business. So if you're a good seller and you've got good intentions, like I know many of you are, I am, I'm preaching to the choir here, then you're not really going to have any problems. Like, the changes that are happening aren't really too drastic for us. In this session, I wanted to just discuss a little bit about what strategies you should be focusing on, which ones you shouldn't be focusing on, and all of this stuff will surround these changes that are happening. So when it comes to choosing which strategies to focus on, really it doesn't really matter too much whether you're doing online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, wholesale, private labels. They're all still viable. I really don't see any of them being thrown out of the window. Yes, areas are going to get slightly tighter. Arbitrage is going to be perhaps a little bit harder to continue to do when there's more restrictions on brands, there's more customers in there fighting for the buy box and the same products. But really, I mean, if you just hustle a little bit harder or be a little bit more creative, there's still ways we can actually make arbitrage work. And to be honest with you, as I've always said, arbitrage shouldn't be your business model forever. It should really just be a way of building up your capital so you can move on to wholesale or move on to private labels. So what I wanted to do now is focus on a little bit on how these changes affect your actions and how you can continue to maintain a healthy Amazon account, seller account, and what are the key points you need to watch out for when you're selling, when you're finding stock to sell on your account, and what things to avoid doing just in case something were to happen and Amazon were to get annoyed because of these changes. So the main thing I can say to you is, this is a really, really important point, stick to strategies where you can prove you have legitimate stock to sell on your account. If Amazon were to ever question you and say, you know, I think this might be a fake product, or give you any kind of copyright infringement notices or anything like that, you want to be able to turn around to them and say, listen, I've got legitimate stock, here are my invoices or here are my receipts, and therefore completely be on their good side and prove that you've got good stock, right? Because I don't know if you've watched my video on not getting your account suspended, but having good stock and sending good stock into your account is probably the most important thing when it comes to protecting your account, right? So in practice, this means sticking to certain strategies that enable you to get this proof, these receipts, these invoices that mean you won't have to have any problems when it comes to copyright infringement, proving you've got legitimate products and you've got real suppliers. So in practice, this means online arbitrage is still fine. Okay, you can use receipts from stores to prove that your stock is real, whereas you can't do that with category restrictions and things. Retail arbitrage should also be fine, as long as the stuff you're sourcing is not open box but is new. Wholesale also obviously fine. If you're in touch with a wholesaler, they should be able to provide you with legitimate invoices that you can clear the prices on and give to Amazon as blank invoices to prove that you have legitimate stock. Also, private label is fine because you're sourcing your own products, right? You're the brand owner, so it can't be illegitimate stock. And another one which is actually really good is flips. Any kind of flips where you're buying stuff from Amazon, obviously you'll be able to prove it's legit stock because you'll have the receipts from Amazon. Now, as far as I'm aware, Amazon are fine with flips. Like, it's not a problem as long as you don't abuse their terms and conditions, buy things on Prime with Prime shipping and abuse your free shipping there. Also, don't buy lightning deals and try and flip those, because apparently that goes down pretty badly from what I've heard. Haven't tried it myself. I'm not going to bother because I've heard bad things about it. Probably not worth the risk either way. So really, as long as you stick to these strategies, you won't have any troubles in this next year, in 2017, when it comes to keeping your account healthy. If you don't know what these strategies are, or you're thinking about starting selling on Amazon, or you just want to brush up, then definitely join my webinar tonight, by the way. Links in the description there, and we're going to be discussing all of these strategies, from online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, a bit of wholesale, private labels, and how to build this into a business that generates you 6 figures selling on Amazon. So that's the main thing, okay? Stick to strategies where you can prove you have legitimate stock. Another point is that you should never try and cheat when it comes to brand restrictions. Okay, now you're going to see a few more brands being restricted over the coming months on Amazon. I mean, this means that yes, some products will be a little bit harder to sell, especially with arbitrage, but it's nothing to worry about. Out of the, who knows, hundreds of thousands of brands that are available for sale on Amazon, only, I'd say 1%, 1 to 2% will be getting restricted. There will be fees. If anything happens like the way things are happening in America, in the UK, there will be fees to get unrestricted, plus you'll need some proof. But if you can prove that your account is in good standing, from what I've heard, a lot of the time you can actually get these fees waived. So if you really, really want to sell, for example, Lego, and a lot of Lego stuff is getting restricted, then if you can prove that you have real, genuine Lego, and your account is in good standing, you could possibly get approved for free. So this is why it's so important to stick to these strategies, sell legit stock, and therefore be able to prove you've got real products, good stock to sell on your Amazon account, keep your account healthy. It just makes everything easier. And if you've been selling for a little while, then getting approved of these brands will be potentially cheaper, if not free. Okay, so that's the main thing. Don't ever try and cheat on these brand restrictions, though. because trying to create new listings. So let's say you can't sell on Lego. You try and create a new listing and name the brand something else, but the product is actually a Lego product. It's going to get you in a lot of trouble. Okay, so respect these new brand restrictions that are coming into place. If you do get worried about whether a product is restricted or not, just try and add it to your account. If you can add it to your account, you should be able to sell it. If you're ever in any doubt, then just give Amazon a call, and I'm sure they'll be helpful to actually let you know about each individual product you want to sell. Now, here's something controversial which will also help you avoid getting suspended on your Amazon account, which is something that has changed, and this is something that you will need to pay attention to. I would avoid buying large amounts of stock from eBay unless the eBay seller is a wholesaler who can provide you with the invoice. Now, those of you who are in my FBA Secrets training know I always used to advocate buying things from eBay off random people because it's cheap, because there's good stock on eBay. But now it's getting to the point where Amazon want you to have more evidence of the products you're buying to sell on your account. So buying things from eBay could actually be a little bit of a problem. So if you can't get the receipts or the invoices from the seller on eBay, it might be a little bit of an issue. Same thing goes for any liquidation stock, because it could actually be a little bit of a problem if Amazon for some reason accuse you of being a seller who's selling illegitimate stock, and you can't present any kind of decent receipt from a decent supplier. That could get you suspended. So these are a few things I'd recommend you stick to. But again, don't freak out about this stuff, okay? Just stick to the strategies that I teach: online arbitrage, retail arbitrage, wholesale, private labels, flips, and you'll be fine. You're not going to have to worry about getting your account suspended because not that much has really changed. Just make sure you have legitimate receipts or invoices for the stock that you're buying to send into your account. If you want more information, by the way, about not getting suspended and making sure your account stays in good standing, I do actually have another video on this. So just go on my YouTube channel. It's called, I can't remember what it's called. It's something to do with not getting your account shut down. That video really gives you an exhaustive list of things you can do and not do to keep your account healthy. And it's like a 15-minute long video where I go into a lot of detail on the whiteboard behind me. And that should really be like your Bible when it comes to protecting your account. Okay, so that's account suspension. Okay, and if you guys have got any questions, I'm just going to quickly double check to see if you guys have got any questions. West is asking, how much money do you need to start your private label product? That's a great question, actually. Now, with private labels, really, the minimum amount should be about $3,000 or £2,000 or £3,000, because just to get that initial batch of stock into your account alone will cost you at least £2,000 of dollars. If you're sourcing something a bit cheaper with slightly low order quantity, then yes, you can do it for cheaper. But then you have other costs like marketing costs and things like that. And I'm really glad you asked that question, because my next point is on how private labels are going to change in 2017. There's been quite a lot of talk about private labels recently and the things that are going to change with them in terms of restrictions and other stuff like that. The good news is for private label sellers is that you will be able to, if anything happens in the UK like it's happening in the US right now, you will be able to actually restrict your own brand. So this will completely eliminate hijackers from jumping on your listing and trying to sell fake products on your listing. Amazon are really cracking down on this because, again, like I said in the beginning, they're trying to make the marketplace better for customers. They're trying to make sure Amazon is full of good quality stock, right? So this is really, really powerful for private label sellers. And so this means that you'll actually be able to restrict your own brand and come up with a list of things you can do to stop hijackers jumping on your brand. Now, as the marketplace gets more and more busy, like at the moment I think there's about 2 million Amazon sellers live in the marketplace throughout the world, it is going to get more populated. People are realizing that this is an amazing opportunity. So I wanted to give you a few pointers of what you can actually do to make sure your private labels still sell, and make sure that you're able to use this strategy as effectively as you possibly can. And there's a few things you can actually do that will really help you this year. And the first one, I would say, is I think it's more important than ever now to be thinking about differentiating with your product, so adding something different that's not already there in the marketplace, something the customers are really looking out for and trying to find in a product, and also adding more value. So if you can just, rather than copying other products that are on the marketplace and just doing something slightly different, but add something really new with your product to the marketplace, you're going to really future-proof the products you send into your account, because as you send in more products, you will get competitors. There will be people who see your product selling really well and send one that's pretty similar. Like, that's part of the business. It's just something that happens. To be honest with you, as private label sellers, we probably got inspired by the product that was already online selling well anyway. So we are, doing the exact same things. You can't get crazy if somebody else does it to you. So the way to combat this is to make sure your product is as different as possible. Add as much value as you can. Look for what the customers are actually asking for in their reviews. Are they annoyed about things? Do a bit of research into your marketplace and make sure the products you're selling, you really know what the customers want when it comes to these products. Have a look around online what customers are raving about when it comes to the type of product that you want to sell, and then offer that and over deliver. If you can do this, you'll build up more reviews, you'll get more sales, you'll establish yourself in the marketplace, and you'll future-proof your products. And once you've done this with a few products, you'll actually start to build a little bit of brand identity and brand trust with customers. This will help you in the future when you're thinking about building your own email list, getting in touch with customers a little bit more on a personal level, and building your own website if you want to branch off Amazon and really build your brand into an asset. So this is something to think about. Start off with products that really do solve problems rather than just copycatting other products on the marketplace. As more sellers pile in, you'll be okay because you'll be adding so much value that you'll establish yourself a lot more easily and effectively in the marketplace. Also with private label, I'm going to do a video on this actually because I've had so many emails about it. Please don't worry about not having the ability to do incentivized reviews anymore. This was something that I keep getting hounded about, like, oh, I don't want to do private label, we can't get reviews for discounts anymore, or give away free products for reviews anymore. I think the reason Amazon has done that is because, it was getting like to the point where reviews were inflated. You'd have a rubbish product that would have flawless, 4.6 star reviews, but the thing wasn't really that good. And the reason why it had such a high rating was because so many of the people who left the review got the thing for free, so they don't really care whether it's worth the price you're selling for or not, right? So I understand why Amazon actually did this, and to be honest with you, when it comes to e-commerce, like, they know what they're doing. So we should probably just, they're not perfect, obviously, but I think that was probably quite a smart move. So how we combat this as sellers is, instead of focusing on sales and focusing on reviews, just focus on sales. That should be your main thing. Get the thing to sell. Again, if you've done the groundwork, you found a product that's going to stick out in the marketplace, it's going to solve problems, and it's going to add value, the getting sales part isn't going to be too much of an issue, right? Because you've got an awesome product. You should be able to sell it. Bit of pay-per-click advertising, bit of promotions, which you can still do as long as you're not doing promotions in exchange for sales, in exchange for reviews, will get you sales, and then you will build reviews organically. So you can focus on sales. You can do promotions still, and obviously promotions will get you organic reviews, and you can email customers who have bought your product at full price to leave you a review. And that's a great way of building up a database or a load of reviews on your listing. And I've launched several private label products since that incentivized reviews removal happened on Amazon, and it hasn't affected anything. One of my products did £9,000 in sales. It was about $12,000 in sales in its second month live on Amazon after all this incentivized review stuff. So it hasn't affected things too much. One caveat is, if you're doing promotions, don't use an autoresponder to email them through Amazon to ask for a review. Okay, so even though you haven't offered a promotion in exchange for a review, I wouldn't recommend emailing them after they've bought it for a discount through Amazon and asking for a review. I think Amazon will get annoyed with that. It's not necessarily the best idea, and I've heard from several sources that they will still consider that an incentivized review. You can do promotions, definitely, but don't do promotions and ask for reviews. If you use a service like AMZ Tracker, they actually will allow you to do allow you to do promotions where you give away products for free or discounted, and then they will email the customers outside of Amazon, and that will probably be okay. I read an article on AMZ Tracker, and they said that they have talked to Amazon about this, and doing it that way is fine. So I would be very careful, but don't freak out about it. Without incentivized reviews, you can still launch private label products. You can still make money as long as you're following things properly, launching products that solve problems, add extra value to the marketplace, building your brand, and taking things seriously, and just focusing on being a good seller, right? So I want to do a quick roundup, okay? Give you some general advice, what to do over the next few months, over the next year. First thing I want to say is don't freak out. If you're starting off building an Amazon business, and this is something you are beginning to do right now, don't freak out. Things are changing. Things always change in the Amazon marketplace. We can adapt. We can keep going. Arbitrage is not dead. You know, it's going to get tighter. There's going to be more competition. There's going to be less brands. But to be honest, 97% of the people who sell things on Amazon dip their toe in, get bored, and quit. Like 97% of the people who go to the gym get bored and quit and stay unhealthy. So if you're motivated and you really want to make this stuff happen, then you don't have to worry too much about the increase in competition. Do arbitrage to build up your capital. It's a hustle. It is. Online arbitrage can be outsourced, which is great. So systemize that, hustle, build up your sales. And then as soon as you can, I'd recommend moving on to private label, or at least transitioning whilst you're doing arbitrage and moving on to private label. That's what I'm doing at the moment. And that's what I'd say. Don't worry too much about arbitrage, and don't freak out about these changes too much. So yeah, online arbitrage and retail arbitrage, still awesome for building capital, not going to cause you too many problems. However, here's something really interesting, and this is a really good thing, okay, when it comes to competition. Bad sellers on Amazon, people who are trying to take the mickey and, you know, fly under the radar and break the terms and conditions and things, will be kicked. So the amount of people out there who aren't going to be following these tips I'm giving you, or aren't even really caring about the new changes and just doing things the way they always did them anyway, they're going to not last very long, and therefore it's going to thin out the competition. So we're only going to be left with sellers who are really conscious of what Amazon is doing and are conscious about sending in good stock with the ability to prove that the stock is good. And everyone who's not really taking the business seriously will be kicked off. And that is encouraging, like really, because really we want it that way. And it's not like Amazon are being harsh. Like, you only have to abide by a few rules, simple, easy to follow rules, which many of I've outlined in this video, and also my account suspension video if you go check it out. And if you can just do that, you really have got nothing to worry about. So I really hope today's live session has been good for you. Sorry it took so long for me to actually get on. I didn't realize I had to download an encoder. I thought I could literally just take my phone, press a button and go live like with Facebook, but YouTube makes things a little bit more complicated. Definitely what you should do today, one of your main actions should be sign up and join my live webinar, which starts at 8 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. EST, and 12 p.m. PST. There should be a link in the description down there, info.ecommercefreedom.com/100 Amazon. Get signed up for that. I'm going to be walking you through how you can join hundreds of my students who have built hands-off Amazon business and how they actually got there in 90 days. We're going to be walking you through how you can start off with just $100 in capital and build up using a mixture of strategies to get to that 6-figure level. And we're going to be going through examples. I'm going to be walking you through how to use different types of software, analysis tools and things like that to make sure you have everything you need to completely crush it and really have good success with your Amazon business and have everything you need to know along the way. Also, there'll be a massive Q&A session at the end, so it will definitely be worth your while to show up there tonight. info.ecommercefreedom.com/100 Amazon. The link's in the description. Can't wait to see you tonight. So what I'm going to do now is try and figure out how to end this live stream, because I have absolutely no idea right now. And then I very much look forward to seeing you later tonight on the webinar.